Well, hello everybody, Mr. O here, and I'm traveling, so I'm in a new location, so please do not mind the air conditioning. I want to just show you some basic tools of watercolor, just a general overview, and if you'd like, just make a comment and I will go more in depth on any of these items. So I'm going to introduce you to a few things that will make watercolor either more enjoyable or easier. One is the water pens. I will show you those and the positives and negatives. Watercolor pencils, I'm just going to do a brief overview how to use them. And I'm using the Prismacolor watercolor pencils. And just as an FYI, the set I kind of use for myself personally is the Fiber Castle, the Gold Fiber Aqua. I'm sure that's what it's all called. But I'm going to tell you, these are the most impressive. I do a lot with the Prismacolor watercolor pencils, so I do recommend that. And then a pipelet. I hope I'm saying that right. And I will show you the benefits of this. I will be doing another video showing you how to do some cool effects with watercolor with these, but I'm just going to show how to use it as a tool in this video. So the first thing I'm going to show you is the watercolor pens. They all usually come with a cap, as you can see. This one's already filled with water, so I'm going to take the cap off. And I just want to take this apart. Oh, there's the cap right on the back. I didn't even look. And you'll notice that if you have watercolor pens, they could twist in one or two directions. Now, I am going to make a recommendation when you use them and you let them dry, keep them apart on a paper towel. If you're in a classroom, there's probably going to be a spot where the teacher wants you to put all of them so they can dry, and then you just put them together the next day, okay? And I'm going to put the cap back on, and that way we protect the brush. Now the negative with these brushes, some people might find them too stiff and they might want a softer. They do make some with a softer and even larger bristles. And what's nice about the watercolor pen, and I'll do it on the paper towel so it's easily seen, is all you have to do is squeeze gently and the water comes down the bristles. And as I'm squeezing, there it goes. You can kind of see the water coming out, and that gives you the water that you need to paint. And once you get started, which I haven't actually practiced with these just yet, it makes it easy. I like them. They're good for, like, if you're gonna travel, like take a watercolor set and travel. This is real easy to do because you can just fill it back up with water from your water bottle. Most times it does not get dirty, but I will warn you. So I have a watercolor set that's been widely used here. So if I got a lot of water, let's just say I have a lot of water in this because I was squeezing, I can actually suck the water back up and it could dye everything blue in here. So be aware of that. That's the one drawback. And I'm just cleaning the brush here so you can so I can use it. Now I'm going to use these in basically just doing two things here. One, you can see that I'm going to use the watercolor pencils. I find them nice to use with the watercolor pencils. I like the stiffer brushes. So I got 3 circles, and you might notice I have a kneaded eraser. That's a great tool for watercolor because as much as you try, you might draw too dark, or you might accidentally shade something in. As you can see, I started to make this into a snake. That's, you know, what we've done in kindergarten, or since kindergarten, is anytime we get clay or Play-Doh, it's just roll coils. And I'm gonna just do that over my dark circle. Now, as you can see, it's lightening up, but it's not getting too light. And I always start with that first. I might have pressed too hard. Since I pressed a little too hard, I'll just do my regular erasing. And what's really nice is I don't get the crumbs. If you don't know what the kneaded eraser, the stretchy eraser is, it's very handy for that type stuff. And I just want it light enough, or at least a loose graphite, that it's not gonna mix with the watercolor. Now I'm gonna take my red watercolor pencil And I want to just show you, I'm going to first outline this, and I'm not going to do too much. Then I'm going to go a little more here. And I'm going to go really, here's the problem with watercolor pencil. People use them like regular pencils, and you kind of waste the watercolor pencil. It's basically just hardened, I'm gonna just do this light little thing here. It's basically just hardened watercolor. So I don't know why I dipped it in the, so I'm just gonna go here, and I just want you to see, and I'm using 120 weight watercolor paper, but look at the little bit of water color pencil that I had. I want you to see how much color comes off of it, so you can imagine what the others are going to be like. And what I can do is, I usually don't sharpen the watercolor pencils to a tip because they're more fragile. As you can see, I can get a darker red, but it goes a lot further, and I can just keep going. So I don't know, again, just getting used to using the water pens again. And you can see I can really go a long way with the red, and it stays the darkest. But I usually like to do layers. So when this dries, I would go back in with the watercolor pen, and I don't waste as much pencil, and I can still get the same red. And then it doesn't take much. As you can see, that little bit of light coloring, see how much it takes there? So that's the watercolor pen and the basics of the watercolor pencils, that you just want to do detailing with it. That just doing light lines, and even when the paper is wet, you can make some nice effects. And let's just say I want this edge a little darker. I just gently just go over and over until I get to the darkness that I want, and then I can go just with the pen and finish the outline and go both directions. Now I'll probably move the paper so I can go the other direction a little better. And here we go. And I can just spread that out. So that's how you can detail. I like the watercolor pencils more for detailing. Sometimes they're great for doing like anime drawings and stuff, and you just start shading one side and then you just pull with the water, and it gives you lots of different values. So that's the benefit of that. Now, so I've shown you everything except for the pipette. One of the big things, and I'm gonna just make a nice dark, and then I'll even make it easier on myself. I'm gonna just pour a puddle of water. And I accidentally so now my color is all, but it's way too much water on my watercolor paper, right? So what are you gonna do? Take it to the air dryer and like blast it off? What you can do, if you have a big puddle, squeeze it, put it in there, and then just start sucking it back out. Now, you saw what I did when I didn't squeeze it beforehand. It just blew stuff out, and I can pull a lot of the water out. Now, I'm over-exaggerated, but if you end up with a puddle on your watercolor paper, see if your teacher has these pipettes. They're pretty inexpensive, and like I said, in the future, I'll teach you some cool things that you can do with it. I hope this makes sense. So I hope you have an understanding, a basic understanding of watercolor pencils are not color pencils. You only need a little bit. They're great for detailing, but you do always want to take water to the lines. And you saw how gentle I did it. You can go over while the paper is still a little wet, but you have to layer it. You understand what the water pens are. Like I said, take them apart, let them dry, and the pipettes, as a tool, you can remove excess water from your paper. As you can see, it takes a little time to do that, but I have less water there now, and it'll help keep things from buckling. And be careful of splats, and then using your kneaded eraser to lighten up your pencil. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that, and don't forget, you are beautiful. And I hope you guys have a great, great day, and never forget. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.